Welcome back to LP Field. Your final score here in Nashville, Tennessee, the 11th annual John Merritt Classic. Bulldogs on top 24-7 over the Tennessee State Tigers. Lee Jean, Ted Dixie here joining you in the postgame show. Michael Burns, our remote producer, and Raymond Kutch Jr., our spotter, has gone to look for some stats, so maybe we can get you updated with some final stats. Ted, we'll look at the scoring drives here in the postgame show. Bulldogs on top 7-0 early on after a 9-play, 66-yard drive, 4 minutes, 35 seconds. Thomas Harris caught an 11-yard touchdown pass. Then the Bulldogs responded 7 plays, 56 yards, 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Todd Leifus catching his first touchdown pass
ever, baby.
of his career at Alabama A&M University. 9 yards out. Bulldogs on top 14-0, looking good early on.
Looking like a locomotive steaming down the track. Tennessee State looked just totally discombobulated, and from the defensive standpoint, offensively they couldn't get anything going. We were in total control.
The Bulldogs would come back. They held Tennessee State, then drove it down the field. The Bulldogs did, and then fumbled it on a controversial call. The Bulldogs never really challenged it. Coach Jones didn't argue it that much. It may have been truly that Kevin Atkins landed on a defensive player. The ball popped out. All OVC, Eugene Clifford picked it up, scampered 78 yards for a touchdown. That would be the Tigers' only 7 points of the night. Their only points of the night. That would be 14-7, Bulldogs on top. And then Alabama A&M would cash in again, 12 plays, 88 yards, 7 minutes, 29 seconds, 14-yard touchdown reception by Rashad Johnson, 21-7 your score. Bulldogs get an interception late in the first half, and they take it down. Jeremy Lycia kicks a 30-yard field goal to close out the first half. Your halftime score was 24-7, and that was your final score. Bulldogs victorious.
It is said that the quarterback must go down early and he must go down hard, but Dominic Grooms takes himself out of the ball game. He runs to the left side trying to evade tacklers, ends up injuring himself. Tennessee State doesn't go to their depth chart listed Calvin McNall, second-string quarterback. They go to Mr. Perry, their third-string quarterback. He comes in and does a good job moving them up and down the field. However, as Coach Bronski Towns mentioned, their defensive coordinator, we played a lot of young people. And to our credit, right after that fumble return for a touchdown, Coach Jones didn't challenge that. We don't know if that was even a call that could have been reviewed.
Right.
But then we come back and get a 12-play drive, 88 yards on a touchdown.
That was awesome.
It really just reaffirmed the thought that we had, that we were already in control. It didn't matter. We didn't have to quibble over small points or small details in the game. We were just going to go back and play the way we were coached.
Ted, let's look at the Bulldogs defensive unit tonight. Jeremy Maddox, a couple of sacks, I think, really pressured the quarterback all night. Frank Kierce, we talked about him in the pregame. We had to stop the run in this season. Last year we gave up 150 yards rushing each game. The Bulldogs did. Tonight they held Tennessee State in check, and that was led by Frank Kierce, 6'5", 325-pound junior tackle. You got Ronaldo Askew, Marcus Poe, Brian Christian, and also Raymond Segura stepping in. Was not slated to start. Marcus Thomas injured in the last scrimmage, severe ankle sprain. Segura steps in, played nice.
That first sack that we got tonight was Segura coming off the corner, knocking Grooms right down on the ground. That set the tone defensively for the Bulldogs, and as you see, we got a shutout. The scoreboard won't show that, but we effectively shut out Tennessee State.
Last year, one of the biggest problems for the Bulldogs' defensive secondary, they were young. Corey Morrison was a sophomore. Justin Borden was a junior. Rico Porch was a freshman. Maurice Thomas, a junior, somewhat young in experience. They gave up a lot of big plays. One we talked about was the big touchdown pass by Tennessee State last year at Louis Crews Stadium. This year, Coach Bronski Towns really confident in his defensive secondary. It looked really good tonight.
And we took the opportunity, folks, to try to set ourselves up to finish strong in this game. The last quarter, all the thing that we really tried to do in the last quarter of the game was just maintain our crispness on offense, being able to execute, keep running that football. We heard Coach Pearl talk about Xavier Manuel being injured, a full body cramp. He couldn't get himself together. We played a true freshman at center because we lost our second team center last week. So now we had to recover for that, and now we get our game summary stats. Total rushing yards for the Bulldogs, 177 to 13 for Tennessee State.
That is nice. That's a great job.
Total passing yards, 232 yards on 19 completions, 30 attempts, 1 interception. Tennessee State, Perry, most of this is attributed to Perry, 178 yards, 14 completions on 38 attempts, and 2 interceptions.
one key I do look at for the Bulldogs, third down conversions, 9 of 17. That is a great stat for the Bulldogs. We had a lot of third down attempts, but we were able to convert 9 of them. And in the penalty statistics, not sure where they're at, Bulldogs had 3 sacks for 25 yards. Tennessee State only 1. Bulldogs did a great job. Time of possession, Bulldogs dominated. 11 minutes in the first quarter, 8 minutes in the second quarter. Third quarter, Coach Pearl talked about that. Didn't have a lot. Didn't have Joe Quincy. Had Joe Quincy in. Didn't have Xavier Manuel, so the offense was limited as to what it could do. And then in the fourth quarter, had it for 10 minutes. Punting, Chance Wilson did a great job tonight. The young man punted each punt 3 times inside the 20-yard line.
Excellent job for a freshman punter from Buckhorn High School, Madison County, Alabama. We put ourselves in a position, folks, this year, our special teams, I don't feel worried about them like we were last year. We couldn't get deep kickoffs last year. This year we were able to get the ball kicked deep. A lot of times Tennessee State was receiving the kickoff inside the 20-yard line. That puts us in a very good place. You know, when you're not letting teams start at the 45 and 50-yard line, that changes their playbook a little bit.
We talked about the Bulldogs' sacks. Afu Okeson had 1 sack. Jeremy Maddox had 1 sack. Brian Christian had 1 sack. And Raymond Segura with 1 sack. A lot of pressure on the quarterbacks of Tennessee State. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we will wrap it up from LP Field. Bulldogs win it 24-7. This is the Alabama A&M Network.
Time has put the tag of founder upon the first president